There are a lot of famous faces right here in Pittsburgh.
And some of them are born and bred here, while others moved to the Steel City to put down their roots. And this month, Pittsburgh Magazine caught up with several of those famous faces to see where they are now.
And to tell us all about this month's feature is Pittsburgh Magazine editor Brian Heslip. And we're going to begin with one of our favorites at KDKA, Patrice King-Brown. We miss her so much.
Yeah, it was really fun to catch up with all these people, find out what they're doing now. And you know, it was a story idea we kind of came up with last year to look into this, and everyone just had a really fun time doing it. And Patrice has a great story.
It's a great idea. Yeah.
It really is.
Tell us, what is Patrice? She's in California. Right?
Yeah. She moved to California with her husband. She's staying there, living there now. She's not really, pursuing a lot. She's spending a lot of time with her family.
That's great.
Presumably she's sleeping in more than she used to, and things like that. So yeah, it's great after all those years here.
Patrice,
she's from Sheridan, as one of the local people you said.
Yeah, Patrice retired 2 months after I started at KDKA. So my time with her was very short, but she was a very sweet woman. Still is, I'm sure.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And then there's the guy on the
cover. We got to talk about this.
Yeah, so Mayor Luke Ravenstahl came to office after Bob O'Connor died. He was in charge of council. Was the youngest mayor in Pittsburgh's history at age 26. Now he's 40 years old, which is like shocking that he's been gone that long. And he now works as a VP for Peoples Natural Gas in charge of marketing and sales. And this spends a lot of his time now just kind of doing his job, hanging out with his son. They do sports together. They were doing a baseball park tour together. So it's just like changed a lot, like you mature a lot between 26 and 40.
I would say so. But I mean, he made the rounds on national TV. He was on some of the late shows when he became mayor. So I mean, he kind of got the national spotlight at some point.
Yeah, and a little bit of talking about how hard it is when you're exposed to so much media attention when you're really young, and then to try to change who you are. And he kind of stepped away completely after he left office. And this is the first time he's actually had a sit-down interview because he wanted to reinvent who he was.
I would pick up that magazine just to read that article. I'm telling you.
It's very intriguing. It really is. Yeah. And then we want to talk about Francois Clemens, because anyone who watched Mr. Rogers, I think, probably remembers the really iconic scene of him and Mr. Rogers putting their feet in a
like a little swimming pool.
Yeah.
He's actually been in a lot of the Mr. Rogers documentary too, and in the books. He's actually been talking about it a lot. He actually went to Middlebury College in Vermont, and he taught there after he left here. He's an excellent singer and can teach voice. He's writing a book that's going to be coming out called Diva Man, My Life in Song. So,
that'll be good to read. Okay, so let's talk about Jaromir Jagr, because he's also in there.
Yeah, so
this is pretty neat. This is like I was growing up as a kid watching him play hockey.
It was the era for the Pens.
Yeah.
I mean, a very exciting time.
So Hal wrote the Jaromir Jagr story, and Hal had actually gone over and...
Wait, that's him now?
Yeah, that's him now, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
he's still a very attractive man.
Yeah, he went over to the Czech Republic, and he would tell people he's from Pittsburgh, and their very first words to him were Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah.
Because Jaromir is so famous, and he's connected to Pittsburgh so well. He actually has left the NHL, but he's in his hometown area. He has a hockey team. He's still playing hockey. He's 48 years old. He wants to play till he's 50, and he keeps in really great condition. That's a crazy age to be a hockey player. But he looks like he's still going strong, and he'll probably be able to keep playing hockey until he's 50. I mean, he owns a team, so he should be able to
do what he wants to do.
I wonder what hurts when he wakes up in the morning, right? Like if you're 48 and playing hockey, oh my gosh.
And I don't know, do we have time? Can we mention Jack Ham quickly?
Yeah, Jack Ham retired from the Steelers. He went back to his alma mater, Penn State. He's the voice of Penn State football, loves what he's doing there with that. He travels a lot with his wife and enjoys it. A lot of the things we found about these people was a lot of them are still very engaged, even though they've retired or moved on. They're doing fun things, they're helping communities and figuring out ways to keep giving back.
Well, while we have you here, we should let people know that the Readers Poll is up now if you want to submit your nominations.
Yeah, for our Best of the Burg, one of the most popular things we do. We're taking nominations now. People can go online, pittsburghmagazine.com, and nominate people they think in a wide range of categories, and from food to personalities. And then we have a second phase where you have to get out and vote, and then we'll have the winners announced this summer.
Okay, sounds good.
Fun.
Thank you,
Brian.
Thanks.
And you can read more about the famous faces and the dozens of other recognizable people featured in this month's issue of Pittsburgh Magazine. It's online and on newsstands now.